challenges will face us when we think about going to great. But now I can say to all parents, whether they be the Indigenous community members of those communities, staff who come to work in those communities, plumbers, electricians, administrators, I can say to them, you send your kid to that school, they will get a fair education. These are fair schools. And if you send your kid every day, they will do really well. So the keystone of our thinking is effective instruction, and direct instruction is the most effective way of teaching the children that we're concerned with. I always use the metaphor that there are some kids who are going to learn to read no matter what, but exposing them to direct instruction is like giving drill practice to the champion footballer. You might think that they don't need it, but it never hurts them and actually sharpens them. The champion footballer who's done the drill becomes a bigger champion. So direct instruction is a program that works very well for high-achieving middle-class students as much as it does for the most disadvantaged kids. Finally, I want to say that we have a moral purpose here. Kurt's father, Siegfried, dedicated his life in developing direct instruction, not primarily to help middle-class kids. He could have done that, and that could have been one trajectory for his educational work. Instead, his first priority was to provide an education for children from the ghettos. To give an education to those kids who had flimsy chances and opportunities in life. And it is a program that works for kids from the ghettos. And it's completely essential, particularly for those kids that come from homes where there's no books, where there's low levels of literacy and English speaking, all kinds of disadvantages suffered by children. Direct instruction becomes even more essential for children from our backgrounds. And our moral purpose here is to equip the children from remote communities, from Aboriginal Australia, to seize a future for our people. I believe that the big challenge for our remote communities is that we want to see our people live long lives, and we want our people to live long on the earth. I have no less an aspiration than that the Wik people be here in 1,000 years' time. I want the Bulgarian people to be here in 500 years' time. I want the Bulgarian people to be a people in hundreds of years' time. We were a people for 40,000 years. How is it that we should have a precarious future after only 200 years of European presence in this country? We are in a precarious situation, and if we don't get on top of our education, 53,000 years of possession of this continent will be lost to us in the decades to come. This is how fundamental education is. It is about the survival of our people and our culture and our languages. So we have a great moral purpose with this program, to equip our kids with the capability to succeed in two worlds, to retain their culture and their identity and their connection with their country, but to also participate at the front line of advantage in Australia. And they can't have the best of both worlds unless we give them a good education. I refuse to give up on remote Aboriginal communities because my own home is a remote Aboriginal community. I want my children and grandchildren and their children to prosper in the future. And so the great moral purpose we have as educators, and more so you, as the people that we entrust to teach our children, our great moral purpose goes beyond the simple teaching of literacy, but is about the survival of our people. Let me say in closing that I'm a great admirer of teachers. I don't think there's any more noble profession than teaching. It is the most sacred business. And I admire everyone who chooses as a career the nurturing of our children and equipping them for their futures. You are involved in a very noble profession. I hope that our organisation will honour and support you in that profession. We believe that in the discussions of teacher quality, there's been insufficient attention to teaching quality. We believe that every teacher can do excellent teaching. And our friends from the United States have got a whole lot of accumulated practices and insights and programs that will enable all teachers of all sorts of aptitude to nevertheless do good teaching. I urge Natasha Griggs and Minister Lambley to communicate to your colleagues our immense appreciation for the support of the federal government. Minister Pyne is very well acquainted with the arguments in relation to direct and explicit instruction. It is a fortuitous time for us, and I just want to say in closing that I want to wish everyone all the best. I hope that over the months to come that I will get around to visiting your schools and the communities. I want to talk to the elders, and I want to talk to the community leaders. I want to talk to the parents. And we've got to have a vision for our people, for our future. We've got to have a vision as Aboriginal people for the future of our children. And if we get behind them, there is absolutely no reason why our children could not have the best of both worlds here in Australia, this their own country. So over the coming period, my particular commitment is to work with all of you Aboriginal people, leaders in the education field, teachers, teacher aides, parents, elders, community leaders. Let's have a talk and let's have some make some plans, and let's support one another in pursuing this vision for our children's future. Thank you very much.